In the previous video, we learned how to add a load balancer to our application and expose it as a scalable service using auto scaling groups. But before other users can actually access our application on port number 8501, we need to make certain network changes. And to do those, all we need to do is go back to clusters and click on this cluster which we created. After we do that, we see that under services, we have the service created in the running state. So that's good. So under tasks, then we go under tasks. So this tasks displays the task which we created in the previous video, and that task made use of the Docker container. That is also in the running state. Initially, it would be like provisioning, then pending, and then finally running. After that happens, just click on the task and then go to networking. Under networking, you will have these different links. We'll be making use of ENI ID. So we can also see the public IP. So this is the IP address of our application at which we can actually access it on port number 8501 after we make the required changes. So let's just open ENI ID, this particular link in a new tab. After you click on that, right under security groups, again open this in the new tab, and right under inbound rules, click on edit inbound rules. I'm going to delete this rule and add it again just to show you guys how to make it accessible. So just click on add rule, leave it as is, like custom TCP. The port number should be 8501 and source would be anywhere IPv4. That basically means like anyone can actually access it on port number 8501 if they have access to that particular IP address. So just click on save rules. Okay, the rule has been saved. Next, to access it, we go back to our networking tab. We copy this public IP. We go to our browser and we type 8501 and we just click on it. So it says that the application is actually in the running state. So let it run. And okay, now it's done running and we can actually use it. So for the purpose of this last video, I have gone to today's news. I have copied like these different news articles. Group Captain Shaliza Dhami, etc. She's in the Air Force, something. And then there's a news article about India versus Australia match. And lastly, something about GST and stuff like that. So I've copy pasted these different articles here. Group Captain Shaliza Dhami. Then there's no time for, if you go back here, there's no time for easing into cricket world. Like I've basically copied the entire articles from this particular, paragraphs from this page and combined them together. And same goes for all other article types. The possibilities are endless. You could also basically change your application logic to include a URL, and instead of where it chunks the text, the first part, like a logic could also be added to go to the URL and then parse out the text and then chunk it. So that is something which I will leave for you guys to discover, because our initial focus and our only focus was to build an entire infrastructure and build a scalable application. You could basically build anything with this architecture or with the pattern which you have just learned and do more stuff with it. So without like further waiting, I'll just copy the first article, go back to our application and just paste it here. Let's see. Okay. After pasting, we just click on generate summary. The application is in the running state. Let's see if it works. So it was a pretty long piece of text and it does actually work. So as we can see, like we are doing it live from like 8th October's news. So it was able to summarize that news. Next one is India. There's no time for easing into cricket world, which is this one. It's a pretty bigger article as compared to the first one. So let's see. Let's copy this and go back to our application. I'm going to select, delete, paste, and let's see. I'm not sure if there are two paragraphs how the application would behave, but let's just make it one paragraph. There's a very simple line for it. You just strip out all this spaces in Python code and then combine everything in one single line. And just click on generate summary. So let's see, the first part is commented out. We can't make any more changes to it. So because it is processing the new text. So let's see, it's pretty okay. It's an okay summary, not too small. If you want a smaller summary, you have to specify that in the custom prompt, something which we will be seeing later in different courses. Lastly, let's just check the last one. This one is rather short. GST Council, which basically comes from this particular page. GST Council on Saturday announced its decision to reduce taxes on molasses from 28% to 5%, etc., etc. We don't really care about the text. All we care about is like, is it able to summarize this different genre of information? Like this comes from business and finance, this comes from sports, and this comes from I don't know which categories this fall into. Okay, so it is actually able to summarize the text. Sorry, I was not able to show you that on the screen, but to conclude, it actually works. A very important part is you need to understand, like, based on the kind of role you are in, if you're more interested in evaluating the efficiency of this abstractive summary, then you might want to read about how to evaluate abstractive summarization. I'll share an article for that. Actually, not an article. I'll share links to different research papers which we used in our team to build like a metric for evaluating abstractive summarization. There is no code available for this. That is why it is still like a problem which is still being solved. Unlike extractive summarization, where we actually pick up the exact set of words from the original text and build a summary combining those words together. But however, that extractive summary is not very readable. However, if you are more into infrastructure and deploying and scaling, that is what you want to learn. So I hope you have learned something, and I was able to teach you like a framework which you can now use to basically build other applications using LangChain, deploy them, scale them, add load balancers, and finally like tear down your architecture. So now you instead of just reading about system design, like you can actually build stuff and software which makes use of these services. So with that, I guess that was the end of this series. So now what I will do is basically we'll just go back to our Amazon like homepage, and we need to close some stuff down so that you don't get charged for it. So just go into EC2 first. We see that we have a load balancer running. Click on that load balancer. Again, click on it under actions, click on delete load balancer and type confirm. Load balancer has been deleted. Go to AWS, Elastic Container Service, go to tasks, this particular task, click on it again, this, and then under actions, click on deregister. Task has been deregistered. Click on clusters, right under this thing, delete service. So let's just type delete. Okay, we need to first delete the task. This, then step, and stop all, and stop 0, and then close. And under service, now let's just try to see can delete. Oh, let's just click on force delete. Delete. And finally the service has been deleted, and then finally click on delete cluster. So we need to copy this name. This is delete. Okay, so that is housekeeping. We need to make sure that services are not running. I got a very hefty bill like when I initially started with AWS, so just making sure that you guys don't run into that. Anyhow, so with that, we have deleted the services which actually use CPU and like memory power, like EC2 machines, load balancers, and stuff like that. Elastic Container Registry can still hold your image. We won't be removing that. We don't have anything else running. You can just confirm and go back to your EC2 dashboard. Nothing is running. Security groups is totally okay. I mean, that is a different thing. So with that, I'll see guys. I guess I'll see you guys in the next course, where we would focus on collecting different data sets from like open source data sets, combining them together. We'll be building an entire end-to-end LLM app. Like we'll basically be fine-tuning our own LLM using fast attention. I'll be teaching you how to apply quantized low rank adaptation, and then finally deploying your endpoint in a very scalable way. And after we do that, the data set which we will be collecting will be chunking out a portion of the data set as test, and then we'll evaluate our application against that test data set, and then we'll compare our model's performance with GPT 3.5 from OpenAI, and we'll set up some benchmarks. From that, like that would be a really good learning exercise. It's a really generative AI is a really hot topic. So I guess I'll see you in the next course then. Take care.